All right, so checking out the new I almost said 1250 R1300GS. Oh wow, engine brake is actually heavier on this one. So yeah, a little bit different. Feels a little different. Feels a little bit smaller for sure. Feels like it's sitting a little bit lower. Normally, you know, I've got a little bit more of a commanding view up here. Of course, I've got a bigger windscreen on mine as well. This is a smaller windscreen, but this is the option 719, so it's got the green on there. Really nice little bike. SOS button, everything is pretty much the same except for the start stop button is not here. We've actually got it over here, so that's kind of interesting, a little different. I guess it cleans this up a little bit. Screen's the same. Does have, let me see if I have time. I'm interested to see how this quick shifter works. Feels quite different, but I haven't gotten out of first gear yet. So it's got the automatic suspension where it can change when you go. Oh, that clutch feels really different. Let's see. The throttle's really nice. Still a little jerky from first to second. I'll give it another chance here in a minute. Yeah, it feels a lot smaller. Not paying attention, gotta pay attention. They do have a different screen on here too, kind of a sports screen if you wanted that. Man, the clutch feels really different, really different. I'm actually really surprised by that. It's kind of nice. Feels more like a Japanese style bike as opposed to my 1250. So it's actually a little bit more, I don't know. I gotta see how I feel about this. Gotta see how I feel about this. I want to shift through it a little. Got that nice little clunk on the way down. Oh, okay. So I've got the blind spot detection in there in the mirrors, so it just kind of dinged at me. That's pretty cool. I always think that's an incredible feature on the newer bikes, is having that that blind spot detection. I think that's super helpful. Yeah. Probably thinks I own this bike. He was like, oh, so what do you think? Is it cool? Yeah, I mean, look, I haven't even gotten this thing going yet, but this guy's gonna want to ask me questions. Muito força. I really like the throttle on this thing, man. Really nice. Got the blind spot detection. Okay. Okay. All right. This thing's on another level, guys. This thing's got quite a bit more get up and go than the 1250. It feels nice. Oh, that car almost. Oh my gosh. Okay, look, I'm not a fan of the looks of this bike whatsoever. Not at all. Not at all. But oh my gosh, does this thing have some get up and go? It puts a smile on my face, man. Wow. Yeah, wow. Okay, so I kind of knocked this thing pretty hardcore on my last video, just because I hate the looks, man. And do I think I'm gonna upgrade to this? Probably not. But you know, there's a few things I just don't like. I feel like there is too much. I believe they don't have the adventure model of this out yet. And I was actually looking at some new 1250 adventure rallies in the showroom just now, and man, those things look amazing. And they come with stock, not stock, I don't know if they're fully optioned or whatever, but they come with Denali's all over it, the Denali auxiliary lights, and man, does it look great. But yeah, this is, I don't know, man, it feels less intimidating, I guess. It feels way more manageable than my 1250 for sure. And funny enough, saying that, I literally just dropped my 1250. I was pretty much at a standstill today, and just, you know, laid it over real gently, picked it up. It was easy, no problem. I have crash guards, so it was all good. But yeah, it's a heavy beast, man. You turn those handlebars a little bit too tight on a bit of an incline, and that puppy's going down. This thing feels way more manageable, like just stopping and everything. Maybe I can get into a parking lot. The dealer was super nice just now when they gave me the bike. They were like, hey, test ride is hour and a half. So I thought that was very generous, you know, just to go out and take an hour and a half test ride. I feel like in the States they're always kind of like, hey, do a few loops around the highway and come back, you know. But yeah. Let's go over some of these. Well, let's do the highway. Let's do that. I think this is a highway I don't want to be on, actually, but let's have a go. So there's only one major problem, and that is that I don't know the way back to the dealer, and I'm not super familiar with these roads. Yeah, this is the wrong highway to get on. So I still find, I mean, maybe I need to rev it up a little bit more. I still find this thing quite jerky. I heard that they smoothed out the transmission. With this transmission does feel way smoother. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a smoother click. Got a speed camera here. It's definitely a smoother click than it used to be. You know, it used to be really, well, like in my 1250, like you feel it when you're shifting back and forth. Yeah, the throttle's really smooth, man. Really smooth on this bike. I mean, it feels like you can just cruise and cruise and cruise. Let's see what we can do here. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh. Gosh, this thing is incredible. Okay. Like I'm not super big. This is a little bit too, the engine on this thing. I wish they would took this engine and put it on the body of a 1250, if that makes sense. Like if they could put this engine in something that looked a little bit like the robustness of the 1250, ooh, I'd be looking at upgrading for sure. I mean, this engine is phenomenal. I like the gearbox, very smooth, very smooth. Let's see if I can get off up here and show you guys a little walk around and show you some of the features on the screens. This does have the adaptive cruise control on it as well, so, you know, if we set that, I'm actually going to get off here. I mean, yeah, this thing feels like super manageable. I mean, you could flick this thing around, very flickable. Still has that really nice low down balance of the Boxer engine, which is why I got into these bikes in the first place. Oh, I am going the wrong way. Let's see here. See if I can get up over here. Let me park here for a minute, show you guys this. Cancel that blinker. All right, so you got your ride modes here, same as, oh, it kind of looks a little different than it used to. So you've got this kind of puts you into, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. Now this is all in Portuguese, so there's your heated grips and heated seat. I've got them both on one at the moment. Heated seat's really nice. I've never ridden with a heated seat before. I've ridden with heated gear, but not a heated seat. The windscreen, right? So there we go. Let's put that up in high. I was getting a bit of buffeting on my helmet, so that's kind of nice. He showed me as well that they had a sports screen, so let's go back over here. So that regulates the distance. This is the distance that you can set, like how far you want to get to another car before it actually kind of backs you off of it. I don't know. I'm really confused. Really confused as to why it's doing this right now. It's kind of got me stuck in the other menu. Oh, that's why. I'm clicking the wrong button. Yeah, so whatever, I guess that's interesting because you have this now. So whatever you were on last, you can, I was thinking this is like my bike and I just have the menu button here, but this is different, so. Okay, cool. So this is the sports screen. I thought this was kind of cool. So if you have, you know, you have your I don't know if that's engine braking or just regular braking. I'm guessing that's engine braking. You can set that to different levels, DTC, and then you've got this really cool kind of dash here. So if you wanted something different from the other style, it's really nice. I think that's pretty cool. All right, turn that off with the button here. I will show you guys. This is one of the things I love. Okay, you can see here it's got the kind of the caps and stuff. That's what hooks you into, I think that's the side cases, and then you've got the keyless where you can actually, and this is cool as well, you've got this little compartment on the non-adventure model as well, because I think on the 1250s you only get this little compartment on the actual, so you got the blinker in the front. I think that's pretty cool. It just looks cool. If you break that, I'm sure, you know, you drop that on the trailer or something, it's going to be expensive, but yeah. Oh, and that's kind of cool is when you turn off the bike, the screen goes down. That's kind of cool, kind of like a put away feature. Yeah, look, the bike is cool. The engine, phenomenal, guys. Engine is phenomenal. Not a fan of this headlight. Of course, I haven't used it at night, so I'm not talking about how it works. I'm sure it works great. BMW puts out most of the time great stuff, but I'm just not a fan of that headlight. Not a fan of kind of how they've done the side here. But again, this bike is super nimble, super flickable. If you found the 1250 quite robust and something that was a little bit more like, I don't know, you found it a little bit intimidating, this thing's not intimidating at all. You can get on this thing more of a first timer. Of course, I wouldn't recommend something this powerful as a first timer. Love this view. This is a beautiful view of the back of the bike. Like, you can just kind of see it all out there. Really nice. And actually, I don't know how much slimmer this actually is from my bike. It doesn't look too much slimmer, but you definitely feel a little bit more out there. And maybe that's just because the bike seems to be flatter. I don't know if that makes sense, guys. The bike seems to be a little flatter as opposed to up in the front, like the 1250. I feel like it kind of stands up a little bit taller in the front, and this one just kind of seems a little bit more linear, if you will. All right, so yeah, I mean, okay, here's something I kind of like. I kind of like how they've done the plastic with the metal here. You kind of just have plastic right here, and then you've got, I guess it's still plastic, but it looks like metal, and then you've got this kind of cushy bit here. This is all cushy. This is not cushy, not cushy. But yeah, oh, dude, they didn't close the gas cap. What ding-dongs. Okay, I guess I should have checked that before I rode it, but you know, trying out a bike from a dealer, you assume that they would close the gas cap after putting a little bit of gas in there. Whatever. So you've got the heated seat for the passenger back here. This is kind of nice. It's got like a little flake inlay in there. It's kind of nice. Kind of looks good, and they've got that on the engine as well. This kind of looks a bit dry here. I like the, like I said a million times, I like the ruggedness of the other bike. So, you know, this just not my favorite, but like I said, you know, there's stuff that you're trading off with this, you know. You're really just trading off the I mean, wow, just getting on this thing and just picking it up feels so much more manageable than my bike. Of course, right now I've got luggage on there. I've got you know, crash guards. It doesn't add a ton, but it all adds up over time, you know. All right. Okay, so the windscreen went down. That startup sounds quite different. It sounds a little anemic, but you know. Something else that's cool, I heard about this. When you, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but when you used to look down, like on my bike, you can see the engine's a little bit askew. On the right side, it's a little bit down. They've kind of made that perfectly align across. So that's cool, you know. I'm sure that does something for the feel of the bike when you're leaning and everything. So let's go back through. I do like you kind of got this quick select button that takes you straight into this menu for all the things you might need. The green is very nice. Nice touch on here. I do do love the throttle on this thing. All right, guys, what's going on? So I actually had an audio problem on the rest of my footage. So look, I really wanted to hate this bike. Not this bike. This is my bike, the 1250. I really wanted to absolutely hate the R1300GS. It's just not my cup of tea as far as looks, and a lot of people are saying that I'm being unfair with it when most of my comparison is cosmetic. It's not anything to do with the engine. I went out yesterday, rode the thing. It is just incredible. It's got to be one of the smoothest, best engines. Being a fanboy of the Boxer engine already, to have a new version of that that's got so much more torque. The throttle is just so smooth, so nice. You know, I don't really feel it, right? This is a great bike. This is my favorite bike I've ever owned in my life. I think it's one of the best bikes out there. But I do at some points feel like the throttle has a slight delay in it. You know, it's not bad. It's not something that I'm really like, oh, there's a ton of delay. But, dude, the throttle is just so incredibly smooth. It's right where you want it on the 1300. And that engine is just a work of art. The torque is incredible. I mean, you never, ever feel like you have a lack of twisting that throttle. I mean, if anything, the bike felt like it wanted to get away from me. It's just gorgeous. They really did a good job on the wind protection on the new bike. I mean, it is just amazing. Now, having said that, if you look at the new bike, you know, we've got the little ears here, I'm going to call them, the little wind deflectors on the side on the 1250. The ones on the 1300 are massive. They're like elephant ears, if you will. These are like dog ears. Those are like elephant ears. So, of course, the wind protection is going to be better because those things are massive. So I don't know if that's any kind of innovation, new innovation that's absolutely incredible, or if it's just they made the elephant ears absolutely humongous on this bike. But either way, the wind protection is incredible, and it's very nice, let me tell you. I mean, I felt a ton of wind protection. I did feel like I was getting a bit of weird buffeting on my feet, which is kind of weird to say, but I do feel like I was getting a little bit of weird buffeting. Just a nitpick there, right? Overall, I love this motorcycle. One thing I will say, if you guys look at the back of the bike, it stands a little bit taller in the front here with the tank and with the front screen and everything. And on the 1300, I know I talked about it in the video as well, it felt more like flat. The bike feels more flat, right? It doesn't feel like it kind of comes up here in the front, which I really like it because I'm a cockpit guy. Like, I really like to feel like I'm in the cockpit of something. And on the 1300, it kind of just doesn't do that. So yeah, it was a bit different, but dude, the bike is so light. It's so incredibly light. It is amazing. If you haven't ridden one, man, go do a test ride. These things are absolutely incredible. All right, so the 1300 definitely is a lot different of a leap, right? You know, when you had the 1200 to the 1250, a lot of people were like, oh, that's not much of a leap. Some people felt like the innovation wasn't enough for them to jump from one bike to the next. I disagree. I do feel like there was a ton of tech upgrade. You know, you had the TFT. Of course, you had that in the 1200. I think what was it, the 17.5 or something they called it. They had a TFT on that one. But anyways, yeah, I feel like there was a ton of innovation. But even now, the 1300, oh my gosh. I mean, the difference is so big. It's so massive. The bike is so much lighter. The engine, even if you look here, I know I've talked about it other places, but I don't know if you can see on the right side, the engine kind of sits back a little bit more, and on the new bike, they've taken that away. It doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't sit kind of janked from the other. It goes straight across. So that's something that you don't have on the new bike. The Boxer engine, I think, is smaller. I think, like, as far as, you know, measurement wise, the Boxer engine is a little bit smaller. I know they cut a bunch of weight off the engine as well. I really enjoyed the adaptive cruise control. That was really nice, actually. I tested that out, and to be able to have that slow down, it was really nice. It was really nice to have that feature, and it slowed down quite a bit. It did a very good job at, like, and you can change the settings on how far or how close you want to get before it kicks in, but it was really nice because what it would do is basically, you know, if a car was slowing, you know, a ways in front of me, it would apply more and more pressure on the brakes. So the closer I got, if the car kept slowing down, it kept slowing me down as well. So it was really nice. Yeah, of course, that's what it's supposed to do. But But yeah, the way it worked was very smooth. I really liked the way it worked. I was interested to see how that worked because I didn't know how it was going to work on a motorcycle. But yeah, it worked really, really smooth. Added safety, yeah, ton of added safety. The new tech on this bike, on the 1300, is just unbelievable. I mean, you just... it's unbelievable. It's got great upgrades. The blind spot detection, which I was kind of having trouble with. It was only working at slower speeds. It wasn't working like on the highway when I was going faster. I even tried putting my blinker on to see if that would initiate it when I was passing other cars, if it would kind of blink at me when I had the blinker on and tell me, hey, don't go over, there's a car there, like it would in a car. But it didn't do that. It only worked when I was like under 60 kilometers an hour. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that. I was kind of hoping it was, and maybe this is a glitch on the bike I was on, but I was kind of disappointed there. So wish that would have been working at higher speeds as well, because a lot of the time that's where you need it as well. So just under 60 kilometers an hour, or however slow I was going, it only worked on slower speeds. Basically that's the point. So here's the thing. Everybody always says that you know, I give it too much crap on the price. But the thing is when you look at this thing, yeah, I looked up, when I was at the dealer, I asked them to kind of do a trade-in on my bike and also see what what a triple black was going to cost. And of course, my bike's not a triple black. It's just a normal version, but it is fully loaded. The only thing I don't have are the pro riding modes. That's it. Everything else I have on this bike. And so so basically I said I want to give me a triple black and get rid of the I wanted the auto, or ESA, but I didn't want the adaptive height control, where like when you're going, I think that's what it's called, when you're going under 50 kilometers an hour, or I'll put the conversion here, when you're going under 50 kilometers an hour here in Europe, the bike lowers down so that when you come to a stop, you're already lowered down. So for people that are shorter, it's easier for you. Now, I don't need that because I'm taller. I actually prefer the bike to be taller when I come to a stop. So, you know, for me, that didn't make any sense. So took all the options about that off and then kept everything else. So basically, and I kept, you know, the blind spot detection, adaptive cruise control, and got rid of the heated seat. Kept the heated grips, but got rid of the heated seat. So with all of that, it basically was going to cost a little over 28,000 euros. Okay, I'll put the conversion for USD here, but a little over 28,000 euros, which is, for me, crazy. That's crazy expensive. Now, of course, when these things came out, the 1250s, they were coming out for about the same, but you know, a little bit less because, you know, some of the tech you just didn't have. So the price is pretty comparable, plus a few extra thousand for some of this tech. Now, the only problem I have is I never buy new bikes. For me, that new price is something that is a deterrent, because for me, I only buy used bikes. I'm not going to take that depreciation hit right off the dealer parking lot. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm not going to take a 20% hit on my bike immediately. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I would wait until a used one came out to get one. Could I see myself eventually going to the 1300? Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great bike. The only thing is I hate the aesthetics. I really don't like that front light. I don't really like kind of how they shape the front tank. I don't like that it's more flat. Yes, the bike is way more approachable. The bike is way more approachable, way lighter, way easier to manage at a standstill. And yeah, I drop this thing sometimes. That's why I got the crash guards. Right before I rode this, I dropped this bike just earlier that day, just because I turned I was parking and I turned the handlebars a little too sharp. I was on a hill, just dropped it real lightly. It was super light, easy. But yeah, so I would love to have a lighter version of this for sure. I would love to see how the other one kind of, it was actually pretty windy yesterday, and it was handling really well. It was really sticking to the road and leaning in the corners super well. I would say it leaned in the corners even better than this, for sure. Like, you could feel it. You could feel it really wanting to lean and do a good job. Look, that bike's incredible, guys. I mean, if you're thinking of upgrading and you've got the cash to buy a new one, go do it. It's a great bike. For me, probably not going to do that. I love my 1250 and I love the look of this bike. Look, here is what I want. I want that engine in this body, right? I want that engine in the body of this. I love how the side of this looks a bit rugged. I don't really like the side, how they've kind of made it look smooth and closed off on the sides. Not a fan of that. And I just love the front of this bike. I just think it looks aggressive and mean. That's a characteristic I've always loved about this bike. And the headlight is so iconic, BMW. Like, I love GS, you know, specifically. Always love this. Always really love this. Of course, everything's got to evolve, and some people just have different tastes. Literally, while I was making this video, I parked it to do a review. I had one guy come up and be like, ooh, cool, new 1300, amazing. I had another guy walk up and be like, oh my gosh, is that the new 1300? Disgusting. Like, that is the ugliest bike I've ever seen. So, you know, to each their own. Some people love it. I've got a buddy that loves the new look. I'm not a fan. So you guys be the judge of that. Throw it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think of the new bike. If you like the look, if you don't like the look. I know it's kind of 50-50 from what I've experienced. So, but man, absolutely incredible bike. I know my last video I was kind of smashing it pretty hard. I'm still smashing it for the looks because it is just terrible, but I dare say that I would forego the looks and possibly get it anyways, just because that engine is just a work of art. That engine is so beautiful. The new tech is amazing. Love the blinkers in the hand guards. I mean, I was smiling the whole time yesterday. I drove by the dealer to drop it off, and then I just kept past it and kept going and went for another 30 minutes because I was like, I just can't get off it right now. It's so beautiful. The engine's literally a work of art. It's amazing what they've done with it. So get out there, ride this bike, guys. Let me know what you think. And if you have any questions about it, throw it down in the comments. Would love to talk to you guys. I know that there is some new updates as well. BMW just released a really important update about the drive shafts. So about replacing drive shafts for the life of the motorcycle, because they realized that there's a problem with the drive shafts on the 1200s, 1250s, and even 1300s. So you can actually, BMW is now saying, I'll put the statement down below actually, they released a statement that says that they're going to be replacing drive shafts for free for the life of the bike. Even if it's past, they're saying, I think it's 60,000 kilometers. I'll put the mile conversion here, and I'll put the statement down below so you guys can have a look. Look, people are very skeptical, but even other companies also, I'll put the links to the sites, they even contacted BMW directly and said, hey, is this true? And they said, yes, it is in fact true. So it was BMW Berlin in Germany that actually released the statement. So go out there, check it out. And I'm really curious to see if any stipulations come out on kind of wear and tear and if there are any, you know, finer details on that. But sounds pretty good. If you look at one of my other videos, they did a test on my drive shaft and they replaced it for free because they said it was outside of acceptable range of what they wanted it to be, and they replaced it for free. So I'm here to tell you they did that. Of course, I'm in my 1.5 years of manufacturer warranty, so I don't know if it was because of that or if it was because of the recall or whatever, but anyways, I'll put the statement down below, but I think that's pretty big news, and it's awesome that BMW always comes out, and if there is a problem with their bike, normally they fix it. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching the channel. I know I don't release as many videos as I used to, but I'm a father now, 6 months in, and loving it, and I took this beast out all day for a 6-hour motorcycle ride up north of Portugal, and it was amazing. Had a great time. So you guys keep having the adventure, keep hitting the pavement. Love all of your feedback, so thank you so much, guys. Throw your love down in the comments, and we will catch you on the next video. Ride safe, and we'll see you on the pavement.